Oh, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 25 of the Any Key. I'm your host, Draconis, and I am joined here with the Sergeant Bear.
How's it going, guys?
And Stragwer. Or Tamir. Oh, snap. Yep, good news, Rip. My headphones started to play. The Any Key back at me because I wanted to hear my voice, but awesome, guys. I'm glad you guys can make the show. How's everyone doing?
Well, pretty good. Got the big stuff coming up. Frag for Cancer. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later, so I won't spoil too much.
I was like, you're just about to stomp right all over my dreams.
But I'm excited. We got some good Dota to cast, some good CSGO to cast, and we got a LAN war and all that kind of stuff coming up. So it's a busy time for esports, and that's exciting.
Okay, well, what about yourself, Bear? What you got going on?
Same stuff every week. School, midterms, tests. Grinding it out. Yep.
Just
Any
making
cuties on Tinder or anything? No?
None to report to this week, but
Nothing to report.
stay tuned for next week's update.
Get a full workup next week.
Yeah.
Give us the full rundown so we all know what's going on and what's happening. I want a full report.
You can check my blog. I do reviews.
No way. Do you actually review?
No, oh my god.
Oh god. I was about to say, I would read that blog every day. If you reviewed the Tinderillas, I'd love to know.
Like, that's of interest to people, sure, but like
I too would listen to this blog or read this blog if you were reviewing. Today I reviewed 3 out of 5 Tinderellas. Here they are, in no particular order.
Went on a date with Tinderella 742 the other night. This is what I thought. Areas of improvement.
So moving on before we get into Tinderella.
Podcast.
We can spin this off into another show.
Esport.
It's kind of an esport in a weird kind of way.
It's an esport.
A bit more than Hearthstone.
Hearthstone's an esport. Tinder's an esport.
So moving on. First for critical updates. Frag for Cancer. Turi, do you want to give us some insight on what's happened this weekend with Frag for Cancer?
Yeah, well, if it wasn't obvious, Frag for Cancer is happening this weekend. Obviously in Halifax. We won't be physically attending, but we will be streaming both Counter-Strike and Dota from the event. We'll be doing your live coverage. You can find that on Twitch TV /ESChamp for Dota and /ESChamp TV for Counter-Strike. It's going to be pretty awesome. This is their 10th year, and they've raised a boatload of money over the years. I don't think I have a final number for so far this year, but like it's in the like 40,000 or something like that over the last few years alone, and it's always for different charities, and they basically just donate to cancer. So it's for a good cause. They've got a lot of gamers. It's a great event. I think I heard at some point that this is their last event.
It is. It's the last one, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% certain on that, but according to Drekken, this is their last event, which is sad. At the same time, happy to be covering the action, and watching some local matches happening. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it. I know that there's a lot of other stuff happening though. At Frag for Cancer, so definitely check it out if you're into anything that's unimportant. You could give it a look. But
what do you mean unimportant? This is the important thing.
Well, we're covering the important stuff.
Oh yes, true.
You already have all the information you need about the important stuff. If you want to know about any of the unimportant stuff, head over to their website, Frag for Cancer. Facebook, YouTube, it's all the same. You can check them out.
So yeah, Frag for Cancer is probably the last one, but it's glad that we can be a part of it. I also did a look at Meltdown for our Legacy of the Void launch party in 2 weeks. It's coming along slowly but surely.
I saw something about their liquor license recently.
Yes, so the liquor license application has gone through. So I guess it's right now. I guess what that means is they have to wait 2 months. Like it means, the zoning is proper. They've met whatever requirements they have to meet, and liquor license is on its way. So
okay, sorry. Does that so they can't serve alcohol?
they got a temporary license for our event.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yes.
So, yes, but you're correct. In theory, they cannot serve alcohol, but they got a temporary event license.
Yep. That's fine.
So, if you want to surmise, that means that really means they won't be open until probably
2 months from today.
until December, assuming their liquor license comes through properly.
Except for
bureaucracy.
special events, like aside from our event, there they might, if something happens, they might open up for like. I should hope at the very least that they open up for big like viewing events and apply for temporary liquor licenses because.
Well, what other viewing events are left? Like,
I'm just saying the race is on, and
it's just true.
that's if they're the first to corner the market, there's competition that's coming. Whoever gets there first is gonna.
From what I can tell, though, they are the closest. Right? They appear to be the closest because I don't know. Like, they're allowed officially to announce their date. They officially announced their address. So I went to I see it, and it was really close to me. So it's close to a subway, which makes it for ease of access.
Which subway station is it?
Christie subway station.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good.
So if you take the college streetcar, you can.
Yeah, no, I know the area fairly well. It's a good area for.
Yeah, it's on College Street. Oh, bear died. Yeah, that's fine. It's on College Street, and overall, it's solid.
Of bear, we can't see your camera. I don't like this setup.
Oh, because what? Oh, because we can't see Bear, or you can't see me?
No, because we can't see your camera.
Oh, okay.
Because you only have it. It doesn't matter. Just something to point out. Nothing interesting for the viewers.
Okay, so moving on. Meltdown looks like it's coming underway. So we're doing a Legacy of Void launch party. We're going to be having pro players do a show match for everyone to see. Who do we have lined up, Bear, for that?
We have Pendulous, we have Massa, we have BioIce, and we have, oh my god.
Believe. So, yeah. Believe. Show matches, drinks, fun, all of the above. It's going to be
some Archon games going. Be sweet. Come out. Show your support.
Absolutely. So, moving on to the first topic. Let's start this off with a bang. Hitbox getting an investment from WarGaming. This is it's interesting that this came around because the discussion has normally been about Twitch and YouTube gaming. And what we're looking at is World of Tanks developer, WarGaming, has decided to give a funding, $4 million of funding towards Hitbox.
It's an investment, isn't it?
It's an investment. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means that I guess they own it, right? They own a portion of it. They have to
make sure that it wasn't a donation.
No. Oh, could you imagine if it was a donation? They're like,
well, when you say they gave, I was like, they didn't donate $4 million. They're
funding.
They're investing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, then $4 million.
Still, something like this for a platform like that, $4 million. They're hedging their bets.
I know, but well, in your opinion, like I know you have some choice words for Hitbox or about Hitbox and how you feel. Like in the terms of the solid third place, who do you think is in it? Is it Azubu or Hitbox?
Third place.
Who's second place?
YouTube Gaming? I guess is second place.
I'm making that statement that yes. Not me.
Oh,
like,
jeez, MLG just got shat on. by your ranking system. But
I honestly do not think MLG is second place.
It's fine. So yeah, Twitch, YouTube. Honestly, Hitbox I think is a really good platform. The technology is perfectly fine, in terms of what you can do with it. They don't have the audience, right? They don't have the user base. And that's really the problem. Is that Twitch was there to capture the audience and secure the user base, and they've hit critical mass, and now just everybody uses Twitch. Everybody has a Twitch account. It's connected with all their stuff. They don't want to switch, and that's really where Hitbox just struggles right now. It's just that nobody uses it, not that there's actually anything wrong with it.
Now, Hitbox has 6 million users according to the report. So I don't know how. I guess if we're thinking about in comparison, to Twitch amount of users is probably, I'm going to guess, significantly smaller. But they must have thought something. Like, WarGaming must have been like, there's potential here. Because why would a publisher like WarGaming have interest in...
Okay, well, let's elaborate. Let's elaborate. First of all, there's other things happening with Hitbox that might contribute to why WarGaming would be interested. For example, a Dota team just got sponsored by Hitbox, so they're expanding their marketing. They were called Monkey Business, Tier 1 Dota team, unlabeled. They just got picked up by Hitbox. Hitbox is their official. They call it an official partner, but really they're their sponsor. Like, that's right. Like, they just don't want any one organization completely controlling the roster, so they're called a partner instead of a sponsor.
Right.
In other news, they increased their revenue sharing, so it's more profitable for people to stream on Hitbox as opposed to before, where they had the same kind of Twitch model, where only the top streamers were kind of making any kind of real money. Now it's much more stratified across the board, so more people can make money.
What does that mean, though? Like, I don't understand how that would even work. Like, you obviously read the report, so
it's just a better revenue share model. So even if you don't have, like, 60,000 people watching your channel on a regular basis, you still make some better trickle down than.
Does it say that it means like you have a better revenue share, or is it?
Yes, you have a better revenue share.
Do you know how much? Are we looking 50? No, okay.
I don't know. I don't know the numbers exactly. But it's not that recent. This was like end of August, early July that they did this. Or somewhere in there, somewhere in that time span they did it. And just all part of their, like I said, picking up a team, so sponsoring more stuff, sponsoring tournaments. They're clearly trying to prop themselves up.
Well, it's an interesting strategy, because now I'm going to imagine that Hitbox is going to integrate themselves into World of Tanks and into WarGaming's games more, right? You're going to...
I wouldn't say that, and that's where I was saying this is WarGaming hedging their bets as opposed to fully integrating. World of Tanks has been on Twitch and all that kind of stuff for a very long time, and I don't see that changing, but I do see that, like, Hitbox is kind of cropping up now. They're trying to boost themselves up in the rankings and make themselves a more notable competitor for the Twitch and the YouTube platforms, and it just seems like WarGaming is like, you know what, we'll put a little bit of money in this, gives us the option to put more into it later if it really takes off, but for right now it's just kind of like a token amount to get ourselves in the pool of Hitbox, right? Just in case it grows, then...
Just in case? That's a weird position, right? It's like, just in case it grows.
Not really. 4 million is not much. That's just like you're playing roulette and you're like, I'm going to put a little bit here just in case it, happens to be the one, but it's not like my primary investment. It's not. It's to an organization like World of Tanks, 4 million, that they're not losing any sleep if nothing happens with it.
What's in it for WarGaming? I can't see what the publisher.
I was saying the same thing. Like, I don't get what's the value proposition for them to be like, we're gonna own our own or a portion of a platform that could be big. Like, what would be the...
To be promoted on their website more frequently, or to have it kind of ghosting, show them as the top game consistently, or like what is it that benefits them?
Well, from a business perspective, without any relation to their already owned technology, the game World of Tanks, there's obviously opportunity to make money just as an investment, but in relation to World of Tanks, if this grows and they do start streaming more stuff on there, then they're an investor and they're going to get the best kind of partnership, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the ability to influence the actual platform. They're like, you know what, World of Tanks looks better when you have this and this kind of surroundings, or if the ads are here and such.
I feel like that's a detriment, though, to other publishers who would consider possibly being on Hitbox if Hitbox grows. So, like, well...
Perhaps, but the point is, they're getting invested early. It gives them a small portion of control. Like I said, to me, it really just sounds like the opportunity to grow, to build that relationship, like small early on, and then should it start working out really well, they want to have a bigger piece of the pie. And I mean, being able to own a part of the platform that your game is majorly streamed on, for the most part, like if everybody starts streaming World of Tanks on Hitbox in the next 5 years, it's hugely beneficial for WarGaming to own a part of that platform.
This feels like
to control the decision making, or control, at least influence the decision making of that platform in terms of revenue sharing, or preferential treatment, if you will. And I mean, it's not. You can't really say that it's like unethical or whatever. They own part of it, right? Like,
it feels like a jury rigging of like an MLG system where it's like, Call of Duty all the time, every time, 24 hours a day, kind of thing. So it's just like it's one of those things where, I don't know. I find it's a weird proposition, but like you said, it's from a solely business standpoint, it could make sense. I just don't know why you would attach WarGaming name to it, but
yeah, that's the part I'm not seeing clearly. I mean, I'm not...
But it's for sure something that will be interesting in the landscape because 4 million can go a long way for Hitbox to kind of maneuver themselves. I don't know if it's going to go to content acquisition. Obviously, the article states that it's going to be going towards increasing their U.S. presence. I guess that's inciting that they don't normally have. Like, I guess they have a poor U.S. presence, maybe a higher European presence. But it obviously means they're going to do some work for them. So I don't know. I've never watched anything on Hitbox. Hitbox is not the one that you have to download something, is it?
No. I've watched some stuff on Hitbox. They have a lot of cool interactions and like integrations that you can do. It's a bit cumbersome of a platform. Like the screen is really busy. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really prop up the stream, kind of like Twitch does, where if you're watching a stream on Twitch, even if it's not in full screen mode, what you're watching is definitely the centerpiece. Hitbox, there's a lot of stuff going on, and the color scheme's a bit funny. But I mean, all that kind of stuff aside, it works. It works well enough. Like I said, the proprietary technology that they own is perfectly fine. I think that nobody uses it. Like, relatively speaking, 6 million might sound like a lot, but it's really not that many, all things considered, when you stack them up against YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah, how many of those are active users is what I want to know.
Well, I mean,
no, I'm not asking you for the stat. I'm telling you that like 6 million users doesn't mean much if like those are 6 million accounts and 1,000 of them are used.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good point.
The thing is, Twitch would probably tell you, yeah, we have like 47 million accounts, and then you'd have the same kind of like active,
exactly.
Well, you're gonna put whatever it is that you want the media to hear. So let's move on to the next topic. Activision buys Candy Crush's developer King. This must make you super happy, Bear. This is
what? What context?
What do you mean? You love your mobile games?
No.
The Bear is the king of mobile games. Mobile eSports.
Context that I play Hearthstone, or just like
that's half of it.
Like fun to attack. I don't know anymore.
That's a good point too. I didn't really think about that. More under the context of you liking Hearthstone.
I thought you were a big Clash of Clans player.
I don't even know what the game. I like kind of know what it looks like. Farmville with like raids. I don't know.
Farmville raids. You heard it here first.
So the article goes to saying Activision Blizzard will pay $5.9 billion to buy Candy Crush maker King Digital Entertainment, combining console power with the established players in the fast-growing mobile gaming field.
I think this speaks wonders to like where Activision is like heading.
So this is why I brought this up. It's the first I passed over. I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about mobile gaming. I don't like mobile gaming.
And Blizzard, where Blizzard is heading.
Yeah, where Blizzard is heading specifically. I mean, if we talked about this last week, I think, where it's just like you see them week after week, every time they release something, they're catering more and more to this casual audience, this younger and younger generation, kind of losing.
They're casual.
But they just started their whole eSports division, right? They just put together a couple execs and they're gonna roll it all up together. It's diversification.
I don't know. Their lineup is looking a lot more child friendly, shall we say?
Grandma friendly too.
Yeah, grandma friendly. And now we're gonna add Candy Crush to the roster. What is it? Glorified Bejeweled. Bejeweled with notifications. So I don't know.
Bejeweled with them invites. It's I don't know. Maybe we might see something like a Call of Duty on your iPhone. I don't know what they're gonna get out of owning Candy Crush maker King, but either we're gonna see something where they're gonna start transferring IPs maybe to a more mobile space. Like I don't know if that means to them that they're acquiring talent to help them transition their games to a friendlier mobile space, or what were you gonna say, Blair?
No, okay, that's all joking aside. No, I think that's what it is. You have this game.
Rip that internet
on Luke. No, am I dead?
Yeah, you're pretty much dead.
Am I good now, or am I still dead?
You sound good now, but I'm scared. Yeah. I don't know what you're gonna say.
Whatever. I'll start rambling. Anyways, you have a game that on Fluke just became very popular.
Is that Candy Crush, or are we talking about Hearthstone?
Candy Crush, right? I mean, very smart in marketing and how they went about getting the game to expand and how they generated revenue. So you have this game now that has this name to it, and I think for Activision to pick it up, you can say, from the makers of Candy Crush, we bring you Candy Crush 3, like, or whatever the hell they're at now, whatever they're doing. So like you have this brand associated with it, and I think that's what Activision bought. They bought that name. I don't think the game functionally is like revolutionary. I don't think they stumbled upon the next like big genre of games. They just kind of got lucky. Like they knew how to maximize revenue, and they did a very good job at making money. So it makes sense from Activision from a business point of view to pick up a casual game like this.
Really? I think it. Yeah. I was gonna say it comes down to like an element of the talent, because they just want to make a little more Hearthstones. I feel like they're like, Hearthstone's made us so much monies. Yep. How can we make more Hearthstones?
Like $100 investment, like $300,000. They're just like, how did you do that? And then Blizzard's like, well, it was a fluke, really. And they're like, all right, let's try and make 100 more flukes.
Well, like, okay, Hearthstone makes money for different reasons than Candy Crush makes money. Like that.
Why is it
casual games? But like the way they went about it are very different.
Wait. So someone, you have to help me and maybe our audience to understand, how does Candy Crush make money?
Like it made money on like how many people have been notified to play Candy Crush. Like that isn't a fluke. Like you get
how do you
invite your friends to play? So it grabbed a large audience very quickly.
Okay,
because
but that doesn't make you money.
In order to play the game, you have to get your friends to play. And then, you still want to go to the next level? Oh, better put some more money into it. Oh, want to get to the next level? Better invite people and have them invest more money.
So isn't Candy Crush like Tetris, right? You got to match the shit together and then it destroys shit. So why do you need points or money at all to even remember? I'm an anti-mobile gamer, the concept seems really weird to me.
Okay, just a brief explanation of why you need any kind of money or friends to play in Candy Crush is because you have lives. So when you fail to beat a level, you lose a life, and then to get more lives, you either wait, pay money, or sign up friends.
Oh, interesting.
It's a very smart model.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, I see.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a particularly good game or like an intelligent game.
Oh, you don't have to be either of those things to make money.
No, in terms of its time, that's what I'm saying. It generated a shit ton of money. Oh my god, Hearthstone.
Same thing about Hearthstone. Right. It's just RNG and then
with
pictures.
With the skin on it.
There's a common thread between Hearthstone, Candy Crush, and Tinder. It's all just moving pictures that are incredibly addictive and RNG based. So
you heard it here first.
Oh my god.
Tinder, the RNG Tinder.
That is Tamir's opinion and his only. Let's make that very clear.
I'm just saying none of these games involve a large element of skill or mechanical precision, practice.
Hold up. There's some skill and knowledge in Tinder. I'm gonna have to put that out there.
All right. I concede.
That's the one you chose to defend.
Yeah, I concede. Nonetheless, back to the topic of Activision purchasing up mobile games. We've been harping on Blizzard since Activision bought them because Activision really pretty much ruined almost all of Blizzard titles, and at least that's what it looks like from the outside. And the point really is Activision bought Blizzard and they're like, look, we know you guys cater to like people who love games, the gamers, but we need to sell more copies. So how do we sell more copies? And Blizzard's solution was make the game more accessible. Open it up to a wider audience, right? A wider range of people. If grandma can play, if 4-year-olds can play, more people will buy. That's been the direction of Blizzard, and ever like for the last 7 years, I'd say, and which is also why they've started making their games free with microtransactions, because you get more people involved, and then you end up selling more copies. Doesn't matter if the game has any longevity or anything like that. It's all about the initial buy-in. Same goes for Hearthstone. It might be free to play, but if you want to play, guess what? You got to pay up for them cards. Like there's no,
it's true.
You can't. So quite realistically speaking, it's not even that far of a jump for them to purchase up something like Candy Crush. This is what they live off of. This is Activision Blizzard's model these days. Casual games, easy to play. You just jump in, jump out, play with grandma, play with your 4-year-old. Whether it's Hearthstone and anybody can play, or it's Heroes of the Storm, anybody can play, or it's World of Warcraft these days, anybody can play. Diablo, anybody can play. It's not like there's no hardcore gamer element to any of their games anymore, and so it seems like a natural progression, in my opinion, for them to buy up these you know what, you've played our casual games on your computer, we've brought them to your consoles, now we're gonna bring them to your phone.
There you have it, right there. How do you feel about your mobile games, Bear?
I only play Hearthstone. I got a new phone this week, and the only game on here is Hearthstone. That's it. I mean,
King of the...
What did Hearthstone do to you, man? You are just shitting on it.
It's really, it didn't do anything to me. It's I really don't hate Hearthstone that much. I just don't play card games personally.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them. And I do think that Hearthstone is kind of I won't say a poorly made card game, but like the problem, it's kind of like you have Magic, which is such an in-depth card game. I don't personally play Magic, but I've seen people play it and heard from people and kind of researched it a bit. And Hearthstone is kind of like a really, really dumbed down or watered down Magic, right? And it's kind of sad to see that, at least to me, when you have this grossly in-depth game like Magic, where hundreds of thousands of people play this, and it brings people together, and they're extremely competitive and intelligent and spend hours researching and theory crafting, and then you have Hearthstone is just come in and they're just like, yeah, buy some cards, a little bit of RNG goes your way, a little bit of luck, and you can be a winner too.
Can you imagine?
It's kind of really sad. It's games in general, with the highlight on Blizzard moving in a direction that I really don't like, and that's what it's done to me.
And there you have it, folks.
Same goes for Heroes of the Storm, when it comes to MOBAs, and Diablo when it comes to RPGs, and
ooh, even threw the Diablo in there.
Oh, absolutely, and Diablo got wrecked.
All right, I'll give you that.
There you have it.
Anyways, like in terms of mobile games, we discussed this. I don't know. We had some debate on it a while back. I think there's space for mobile games in esports. Like I said before, I don't think the game exists. I don't think the platform exists. I don't think the genre exists. But I do think that there's space for it, and I think everything exists to make it work except the game. Our devices are more powerful than they were even 2 years ago. Everyone has one. I mean, even kids have iPod Touches now. Like, it's just very common. It's all about whether the genre and the correct game will exist. So
until we start having games where, and we'll bring it back to the virtual reality, until that gets involved, or augmented reality, then does that hold that Pokemon game? That Pokemon game looked legit. It looked legit until I discovered you can't really battle them or capture them.
You can.
No, you can't battle them. Like, you can't battle against
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, you can't battle them.
Yeah, you can. That was the whole point. You capture them and battle them.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that
Pokemon MMO IRL. This is
see, that's what I was hoping for, and then I heard.
I'm so confused. What is this?
Okay, so quickly the summaries. Basically, there's a Pokemon game that was announced by Nintendo, or I guess that division.
Nintendo bought some company that worked on the technology that is like geotagging, or what the hell's the word?
That's what it's geocaching.
Geocaching.
Yep.
Where you go around places and you capture Pokemon on your phone by taking pictures of them, and then we're just debating on whether the fact you can battle with your Pokemon because you can trade them.
I think it's just like people. Yes, I see. I don't think. See, that's the thing. I don't think it's battle other people.
Think of this before.
So that's what I mean, right? So that's when I think mobile esports or mobile competitive games per se becomes like a real thing. Is when you have a situation where Pokemon Go, and I don't think Pokemon Go is the savior by any means, but I think it's the direction it should be going, where you combine the real world, augmented reality, in your phone to initiate some sort of competitive competition.
That honestly feels like it's going to be taken over by virtual reality.
Well, that's what I was saying.
But you admit the space exists for a mobile game to be competitive.
In that unique capacity, absolutely, I could totally see that being the case. Like it's just an unexplored territory. Like exactly. Totally carved out.
I think that it needs to be turn-based, but like I don't think it's limited to
turn-based. I need turn-based in like real life. Like you stop moving.
That comes up to you whether you determine that as an esport or not. I mean, I know both you guys don't really consider Hearthstone an esport.
No, but like, I mean,
is a game played electronically?
That's like on. Hey, I'm sure you guys have played like Star Ocean and such, right?
Yes, I have.
Turn-based RPGs, right?
Yep.
That could easily be like a mobile game, and then the esports applications are there.
So I do stand corrected that you can indeed battle other players and trade with them, or even participate in raids against Pokemon. So
I gotta get this. Where do I get this?
I don't know if there's a release for it. 2016. You see
everyone playing it, you know it's out.
So
I gotta get my hands on it.
This is the kind of technology of mobile. This is something I could actually get behind in a mobile space.
But, so think about it this way: like you've played Star Ocean, right? Except like you have to go out into the world, you encounter these encounters on your phone, right? And you collect and advance that way, and then the esports applications from there are pretty simple.
I don't know about esports, but from a gaming perspective, yes.
Yeah, like esports is just PvP.
Okay, well, if you think of it from an MMO or an RP, like an MMO perspective, where you know, okay, fair enough.
WoW esports was just PvP. Like that's Call of Duty.
I don't know. I feel like
Call of Duty esports is just PvP. Any of these first-person shooters that have a campaign mode.
I concede to Bear in the sense that I do agree that there is space for this kind of thing to take root. And that the right game has come along, and maybe Pokemon Go is that right game. The more I read about it and think about it now, Pokemon Go feels like a game that this is where you could say I own mobile esports and augmented reality at the same time.
It's a nudge in the right direction for sure. Like they're definitely pointing the compass in the right direction with that. I'll say that much. Like it may not be the be all end all mobile game / esport, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
As far as that goes.
I would totally go babbling people on the street. I don't care what.
Oh yeah, I'd wreck you. I'm ready to go right now. Like
that's it. So moving on to our last topic, and probably one of the most fun. Nielsen reports, and those who don't know who Nielsen is, it's the company that pretty much measures television analytics. Call it the Google Analytics of television. Nielsen reports that 10% of esports fans don't even play video games. So I originally posted this on my Facebook saying that I don't believe that. That 10% are probably people who just don't play, are just not playing that particular game or a game that they're watching. I believe that you don't play League of Legends, but you will play League of Legends. Like you play maybe Candy Crush or whatever game, but you don't play League of Legends itself. So
to me, when I saw that, that 10% represented people who are family and friends of individuals who either play or work in the esports industry.
Okay, so that was an interesting comment. So what I got on the Facebook response was people were saying that it was mainstream, that we were peeling away at the mainstream.
No, that's what they want it to be. I
don't know. People were suggesting that.
Don't get me wrong. I have no interest.
I would love that.
Like I watched the World Championship last weekend. I mean, it's a good stat. It's a stat you want to see because it's gonna exactly. It's gonna become mainstream the more.
But that's what this is saying. This 10% equals the mainstream people, the people who are like, I don't play, but I want to watch.
When that stat is like 95%, then we're mainstream.
But they were saying that that's who they're coming from. They're not saying what we hit the mainstream, but we're pulling away from the mainstream. That this 10% represents a growing number of mainstream people. These are
yeah, I guess in a sense that's true. It basically represents that our industry is growing outside of just the people who play and work in it.
Absolutely. So,
that's fairly self-evident, though. I mean, that's
the question, though, is like, to me, is this 10% of people who just watch the main events? Like, is this like when the Super Bowl happens, I'll turn on football, but I'll never watch football ever again until that happens?
The other thing about this stat that like also needs to be taken into consideration is we're never going to see that number be 95, like Tamir said. Because like it's so easy to play any video game, right? Like anyone could play Candy Crush.
So like, anybody could play flag football. You know, guess what?
Well, you know, but like you gotta get to, like you need at least 5v5. You gotta get 10 people to show up at the field at this time. Gotta bring the flags. Gotta bring a football. Like it's nothing for me to like turn on my phone and hash out some.
Let me put it this way: like 99% of people that watch tennis don't play tennis.
Exactly.
Ever. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but again, tennis is like it costs a lot of money to play tennis. You got to get someone to play with. Like,
no.
Have you ever played tennis?
I've played tennis.
A racket and a ball. Those balls like 10 cents a piece.
Okay, and usually your friend who you're playing with will have an extra one or something like that.
Like, that's not like. Yes, I agree. but it's not the same thing when everyone has a cell phone, everyone has a computer, and it's nothing for me to play any.
Let me just say, victory is sweet.
Oh. I just want to know that you're right. All right, you're playing that one niche, very.
No, but honestly, back to the number at hand. Like I said, to me, that just represents the fact that people who are in esports are now, they're spreading the word. They're talking about it. Whether you're a professional player and your family comes out to watch you, or you're a caster or somebody who works to organize events or a team owner or whatever, you're spreading the information. The information is getting out there, and the support of people who don't work or live, breathe within the industry is starting to show, and that's really what that number represents to me, at least, without actually asking those people individually.
I have to agree. I think that it does amount to those people who are just on the purview or like on the outliers of esports, who got dragged in. Boyfriend is playing in the tournament, and I'm going to have to watch, and I don't, but I couldn't even guesstimate where or how they even got those numbers.
But like, are you telling me like if your girlfriend watches you play Dota, like she's not also playing like solitaire on her phone?
Absolutely. Okay, but that's
like you're saying video games. Like that's a very broad term.
That's what Nielsen says. They don't even play video games.
I want some credibility. I want to know what they're meant.
See, just because your girlfriend, plays Candy Crush, I don't know if that necessarily makes her. But I guess I don't know.
Think about it this way. Every player in the CS:GO major that just happened the other day has two parents. Well, hopefully. Anyway, their children are playing for enormous amounts of money. These people probably don't play video games themselves. More than likely, they don't play even any video games at all. I'm not saying none of them do. I'm saying most of them. Most of those older generation people who are watching by association or by affiliation don't play any video games. It doesn't sound that unreasonable to me that 10% of people that watch esports, because if you ask somebody who knows about esports, are you a fan of esports? He thinks to himself, yeah, my son, just played in a tournament. Yeah, I'm a fan. Why not? It's not hard for somebody to say, yeah, I'm a fan. And and if they do, and they don't play a video game, it's not that hard for me to believe that 10% of people who watch esports, especially highly publicized esports, don't play video games themselves.
But you're talking about the top 0.01% of players, provided all their parents.
No, not really.
It doesn't account for 10% of the audience.
Even the challenger and the scrub teams, their parents come and watch.
I'm not disagreeing that their parents watch. I'm just saying I don't think that accounts for 10%. I think
even mine. If I'm hosting an event and it's happening, I'm not a player. I'm just running it or casting or whatever. They'll come watch. They'll show their support. If somebody asks them if they're a fan, they'll say yeah.
You remember Adrenaline? The parent came from New York. It's like...
Guarantee you she doesn't play video games.
But I'm telling you, she's not 10. That's one person at an event of
Yeah, but think about esports as a whole.
That's not 10%.
All right, start adding them up though. Like I'm just saying, like yeah, one plus one plus one plus one plus like eventually, yeah, you're gonna get quite a lot of people.
Yeah, but I don't think we're getting this number to like 95%, 90%, even 50%. I think video games are so easy for anyone to play. Like Scrabble on your phone is a video game. Like I don't see this number.
Come now.
If
it's not an esport, it's a video game.
Just because you catch a football doesn't mean that you play football. Like if someone throws you a football,
you play sports, yeah.
Like I don't know.
Next thing is I went to the bathroom. I'm an athlete. Like
I'm not.
That poop competition. Here we go.
Plus aim. I swear to God, Grandmaster.
Squat for the toilet.
There we go. Here it happens. It happened here first on the any key. Poop.
Not everything. Not Scrabble on your phone isn't a video game. It's an app.
There you have it. Said here first, revealed on the any key. Scrabble is not a video game.
It's decided. I decree.
Okay, so let's move on to our not our debatable but discussionable discussion. And this will finish up our night. I wanted to give everyone's thoughts and ideas on whether or not players should be treated as freelancers or employees.
I only have one problem with that sentence, and that's the word should.
Should? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you said should they, and
okay. So let's. Okay, I guess it doesn't have to be.
And that's hard. It's really tricky to say should they because you're deciding for other people what they think is best for them, and that's why.
Or rather, what's the optimum model? Because you have a scenario where players, when they retire as freelancers from their games, they don't really have that security that someone might have if they paid into some sort of employment or pension, or I don't know how that works.
Right.
But there is some sort of job security when you do something like that. I don't know how that works, but you pay into something, and you when you retire or quit or whatever, you should get something back, you would assume. You don't have that when you are a freelancer or an entrepreneur, if that's what you want to call yourself.
Not necessarily. You just have to open it yourself. Pretty much any major bank offers.
Yeah, but these are 20-somethings, 19-somethings.
Oh, so they're incapable of intelligent decisions.
Ew!
Well, no, but they can.
You know what?
They can contribute. They can put some aside.
I would say the vast majority of them do not have the experience to do so.
Yeah. Do or do not though doesn't mean they can't.
Correct. I have to concede that's true.
They can, and if they're young and reckless, is it the organization's responsible to take care of them? Is it to parent them, to guide them with their money?
Isn't it a little bit though, because they're exploiting them?
Are exploiting them? Woof! Wow, that escalated quickly. How are they exploiting them? Like
they take a young, impressionable person with their dreams. This is similar to the music industry. Like I would put this almost in the same category as the music industry. Take them, and they know the machine. Like don't let anyone fool you that the teams don't know the machine. They know the machine. They take you, beautiful young star. Maybe you're handsome, maybe you're not. Or beautiful, whatever the case may be, prop you up. Well, make sure you're talented, and you don't know very much about the world. And they make you put you into these contracts or whatever the case may be,
and make you young and impressionable, naive, and and you're just gonna trust anybody. Wouldn't you say that it's your parents' responsibility to take care of you? Get you a lawyer, somebody to look into this. If you are like a 14-year-old, that's but if you're 18 or 20 and you got to be able to make smart, like I don't put that personally. Maybe this is just a personal opinion. I don't put that responsibility on anybody else but myself. I
think that maybe an individual perspective. I think we're in a world where a lot of people want to have they don't want to think for themselves.
I'm not about offloading responsibility, especially to people who are offering to assist me in making money, because these, truthfully speaking, these organizations are offering players an opportunity for stability in the scene, right? They're basically saying like, look, you know what? If you have a rough year, you don't win anything in tournaments, at least you've got your salary to fall back on as a part of the team, right? Like whether it's $3,000 a month or $10,000 a month, depending on what game and team you're on, right? I'm not saying that there's no exploitative teams out there. I'm sure there are, but at the same time, do I think that can we just classify it as the organization's responsibility to create trust funds and pension plan contributions.
Well, isn't that kind of like what a company has to do? Like a company technically has to pay into like these EIs and stuff like that. And some companies go ahead, they go the distance, and they set their employees up for a future, so right?
Every company is required by the government to pay a certain amount into like Canada Pension Plan, all that kind of stuff. Sure. And then there's some companies that go above and beyond and do even more for their employees to make themselves more appealing as a company. But I mean, all I'm saying is esports organizations shouldn't be required to do any more than any other industry. Like, for example, like you said, in the music industry, these artists aren't employees of the record labels or the talent agencies or anything like that. They're private contractors. They get hired on project basis, whether they have like a monthly retainer or not. They're just they're not.
But they also have contracts that a lot or allow the record label to use their image and to basically
just the same as the players. Right, and it's obviously a mutually beneficial relationship, and basically what we're saying is here should we also make label companies create pension plans for their young actors or for their young singers, and I mean it seems like a much broader topic than esports specifically, but if we focus in on just the esports part, and should these organizations create that kind of facility for their players, I don't want to make that decision for the player. I mean, honestly, I'd say if a player wants to freelance and he doesn't want to get locked into a salary position with a team like you would with Riot or something like that, I think that they should have that option and they should negotiate that with whatever team they're playing for.
Well, I guess that's really game specific, because when you get to League of Legends, you don't really get that choice. That choice is made for you. You are an employee. That's it.
Yep. That's one option.
Right, so I guess that comes down to more of a game specific than anything.
Well, the question is which one is better, and I'm like, honestly, it's not often, but I'll say I don't think either one is better.
Really, that's unusual from you.
It completely depends on the individual. If you're like a 14-year-old like Sumail playing Dota, then you probably want to be a freelancer. Honestly, just because you don't want this, because you don't want any company like Riot or whatnot controlling your time or telling you what to do or where to go. You've got the whole world.
Yeah, but when you become a freelancer, you don't really get. It's not that simple either. You don't just sort of when you join an organization or a team, you still have obligations to fans, stuff like that.
But you're a freelancer, so you can drop it at any time, as opposed to being a salary employee where you're not really free to leave at any point or do whatever you want at any point. If you're a freelancer for Riot, for example, you can't just be like, I'm gonna go play some Dota right now. Like, you can't just stream whatever you want to your channel, because that's what being like an employee of that company means. It means that you work for them. Like, it's not you have a day job, right? And you're committed to or obligated to do and represent only them in certain ways. And I'm not saying that a freelancer contract can't stipulate the same things. I'm saying that a freelancer contract is a vast expanse of different possibilities that you could work into a contract. For example, Sumail with EG doesn't have to be like exclusive to Dota. He doesn't have to play only Dota, for example, or he doesn't have to participate only in Valve approved events or whatever, right? It's just, it leaves you a lot more flexibility depending on what kind of contract you draft up with your team, as opposed to being an employee where you can't really not represent your company.
All right, well, let's bear. You have any ideas on that? Well,
I'm sitting and listening. I don't have much to add to this conversation.
So we're gonna end up and wrap the show because we're coming up on the appointed hour. I'm gonna actually put something out there that's completely not esports related. A little bit against, a little bit out of there, but I had to mention it. It got me really excited, and some of you might laugh a bit, but KFC opened its first all-you-can-eat buffet. Just want to put that.
What?
What the fuck?
Hold on, I only have one question. Does the all-you-can-eat buffet include watermelon? I need to know.
I don't believe so. But that
so
actually
it's not a racial thing.
No, it is really that makes me really excited. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about all your stereotypes. I do indeed enjoy KFC. I have not eaten in a long time, but when I do, I eat a lot of it. So that's it. That's your non-esports news for the day. Moving on.
Already did critical update.
I know. I should have. I just noticed it now. I had to bring it up because I had to, I need the world.
I'm the only person that follows KFC on Twitter. There can't be anybody else.
Wait, do you follow them on Twitter? I'm checking this.
No, I don't. It was on Facebook.
Okay.
You follow them on Facebook.
No, if you never notice on Facebook that there's a. First of all, I'd never follow it because people would notice that and they would say something. Facebook just tells you trending stuff, right? And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, I see. So it's targeted marketing.
Oh my god! I didn't even think about that. It was totally targeted at me. It was 100%. Oh man, rip. Anyway, so final thoughts, guys. Bear, final thoughts on Hitbox. What?
On KFC.
Can I get my comments on KFC first? No. I don't like. I'm just interested to see like what's in it for WarGaming and like what they choose to do with this acquisition and how it goes forward. I'm all for competition in this area specifically because Twitch has dominated the market, and I think the barrier to entry is money spent on marketing because that's like Twitch has just dummied the industry. I don't think it's the best service out there, but I think it's the most popular. So I'm glad to see someone challenge them.
Final thoughts on Hitbox getting the funding, Tamir?
I think that it's good to see money going in other directions, just because Twitch has had such a dominance over this field. I mean, when YouTube came out, all of a sudden Twitch was like, oh, HTML5 and all these things you get now. Look at all these improvements we're gonna make to our platform. We're so much better than the competition, and that's just how competition works. As soon as a contender appears, all of a sudden Twitch has to improve their services to stay relevant and ahead of the game. And I hope that that's exactly what happens here. I mean, good luck to Hitbox. I don't think that they're going to overthrow the giant with this 4 million injection. But I do hope that it spurs this sector of the industry to develop further and research and develop more.
My final thoughts is I do believe that this is gonna push Hitbox just a little bit further. I think Azubu may feel a little bit of a pinch from all this. But I am more interested to see how the partnership with WarGaming will translate as an overall strategy. Because I don't think you can just add new technology and that's how you win this game. Because Twitch already has a really strong hold, and you have to really differentiate yourself in a different way. I don't know.
I think it's a marketing battle, not a technology.
That's the thing. I don't think. Well, it's not even marketing. I think it's just purpose or use. Like there's
well, you have to get people on the service, right? Like we can all admit.
But you can't create. Yeah, but you can't create. You can't create the same service as Twitch to beat Twitch. That's not you. Like there's never. I've never seen it.
Yeah, you need to have something over them. So like fix all the crap that's wrong with Twitch. And you have to market.
That's not even enough, though. Even if you have, like, even if you say
you gotta have something to market, is what Drekken is saying. You can't just be like, hey guys, we're offering the same thing Twitch is. Come use our service. People will be like.
But even if like it's like
why?
the when you say something like, oh okay, Twitch has like Flash and I have HTML5, that's not enough to get someone to switch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like like technology or saying that, oh, you know what, Twitch VODs are crappy. We have good VODs. Isn't enough. It has to be, and I think Tamir brought it up really well, where it was the things like the revenue sharing. So it's more targeted to someone who can't make it on Twitch. So this is targeted at the bottom 80% as opposed to the top 20%. I don't know if that's a viable model. Like I have no clue, but it's like you can't. I've never in history have I ever seen any company overtake the #1 spot by just replicating what that company did. It's never happened in history where someone's like.
They've got two areas to develop on. It's both offering more to their users in terms of, like I said, either better revenues or whatever stuff like that. Maybe a better interface, maybe a better bandwidth amounts. Like if they just say, yep, you don't need to be a partner to stream at 1080p or whatever. All those kinds of things are ways that they can appeal to more people. But at the same time, that's from the technology side. On the other side of things, they also have to have a way of appealing to the consumer basis as opposed to the user basis. Just like people that are watching, why should you want to watch it on Hitbox as opposed to wanting to watch it on Twitch? There's lots of ways that they can do that. Maybe you have better ways of interacting with your streamers. Maybe you have niftier chat features or a poll system or stuff like that. Like, but they're gonna have to offer something unique and new and innovative in order to.
Honestly, what I think it comes down to is going to go down to like if I was in their position, what I would do, I would focus on either the programming. So, for example, instead of just random streams, more like think of television, right? So more on the programming side, more of the design. Like at this time, that this will happen, because I always find that's really bad on all the platforms. Is that there's no universal way for us to know, like, everyone's sort of schedule, right? Like, if you think about when television was going on, TV Guide listed everybody. You knew, like, you just flipped that channel and you're like, all right, so-and-so's going to be on. Or even satellite dishes. If you think about a satellite, you just go to the guide, and then you're like, so-and-so is going to be here at this time, so-and-so is going to be at this time, and you're like, I know what's going to come up. So more not stylized, but more predictable programming is a direction I think would be really interesting to see if someone went that way. So anyways, final thoughts on Activision buying King Bear.
I think it makes a lot of sense for them to have bought this from a business point of view. From a fan point of view, I'm just whatever. It's another one down the drain.
Another one bites the dust. Final thoughts. Same question to you, Tamir.
Honestly, it's pretty boring overall. Just because that's Activision. I don't mean like the topic is boring. I mean like Activision is boring. It's just like whatever. Like go for it. You guys want to make money. You don't really care how we get it. Like do your thing. But I would like to see somebody rise from the ashes in its place. Like I feel like the more and more Activision does this, especially with Blizzard, the more and more room we see for new publishers to rise up and create what Blizzard has stopped creating. That kind of hardcore gamer feel that you had with Diablo 2, that you had with early expansions of WoW.
I do miss that. Do you remember how hard
that you had with early? Sorry.
Well, we have Valve now, do we not?
That's truthfully speaking, that's one of them. So,
well, Blizzard used to be.
Warcraft 3 was, basically shut down, and somebody was like, look, somebody's got to run this project, and Blizzard is not the person to do it because they're just going to make a Heroes of the Storm out of it. Valve did that, so that's, one potential. Is Valve going to be the new king of publishers? Maybe. I don't know. I don't feel like that title has been claimed by anybody yet, and I don't think that it needs to be claimed by any one publisher. I feel like there's lots of games, like MMOs could use a solid, like, hardcore MMO that people could really dive into and like live through again, like the early stages in WoW that just kind of got shut down by Activision. Or same goes, like we have Path of Exile, which is the closest thing now for RPGs, but I mean even then they don't really have the kind of critical mass or the publisher power to make what Diablo 2 was. So all I'm saying is that space is there now. It's kind of like somebody's stepped off the throne, and I'm curious to see who will take up the mantle.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens from there. My final thoughts on it. I think that it's a talent acquisition for Activision's plan to conquer mobile. We'll see how that rolls out for them, because I think that, like Tamir said, it was put $100 in, get $300,000 back. Is just too tempting for anybody sitting at that board of directors room. There's no way that people in the board of directors of Activision and Blizzard were like, what does that project you guys did made, and how much did it cost you? They're like, well, it cost us $100, and they're like, yep. How much did we make on it? How much did we make on it? $300,000 this quarter. Well, they're like,
even if they know it's a fluke, like that a Hearthstone doesn't get created every time, like that you put together that pressure cooker, like it's a pretty unique scenario that produced this like hugely consumed game. That's a risk that any executive would take again and again and again. Like that $100 gamble is just
why not? Like it's
his marketing intelligence and it's his name that they bought.
You think so?
Not necessarily the game. Like I mean that model worked, and like we all agreed that was very intelligent in terms of making money. Also pissing off a lot of people, but like making money. And like that name, now you can say from the creators of Candy Crush, we bring you.
From the creators, does that even hold weight? Do you think? Do you think that holds weight to someone to be like from the creators of Candy Crush?
Talk to your grandma who's playing Candy Crush and say, "Oh, Candy Crush came out with a new game."
My grandma's dead.
Well, oh my god!
I'll pull out the Ouija board.
All right, you win this one too. Okay.
Let's go. Come on, get creative. I mean, it's a barrier, not a.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, you gotta overcome it. It's not
oh jeez, Ouija board, tell me.
That is how. Oh my god.
Ouija board, please tell me. Grandma, did you play Candy Crush? Yes. I'm playing it right now.
Can't wait for their new game.
Final thoughts, Tamir. 10% of esports audience are non-gamers.
It's a good number. I think that it's just because of the fact that esports is catching on with the newer generation, and by extension, more people who aren't part of that generation will begin to consume esports to an extent, and I think that number only stands to grow at this point.
Final thoughts on 10%, Bear.
Just add to what Tamir said. I agree completely. We're going to see that number increase as the years go on. I don't think we're going to have the same margins as conventional sports. I don't think we're going to see that number really creeping up a lot higher, just because of how accessible video games are. But yeah, no, it's a good metric to see, and that's definitely one of the more important numbers anyone involved in the industry should be paying attention to. So, yeah.
My final thoughts is we are not the 10%, and I don't know if it's really that heralds mainstream. I think it'll always be roughly 10%. I really don't see that growing. I know this is the quest for the mainstream, but I don't think they will come, and I don't really think that, I think that people who do grow the audience will always be people who play the games. I don't think it'll be people who are like, what am I gonna do Saturday night? Oh, watch this.
I don't see how that number doesn't grow personally, just because eventually the people who retire from esports will leave behind them a generation of esports.
Yeah, but they'll play. Those people.
You're looking at our the next generation to come up, like the people who are in their teens right now.
That next generation will still be players, though.
And that's what's gonna grow it.
Not that number. Our audience will grow, but
specifically the number of people
10%
consume it but don't play it.
Yes.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Truthfully speaking, that probably won't grow.
I think it will always be. It might even shrink if anything. I think that 10% will be 10%, and the size of our audience will definitely grow. But they will be players. They will have played it. They will be engrossed in it. Like there'll be a generation of people who've grown up with it, but they won't be non-gamers. Like I just don't see that being a thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess that's poor phrasing, needed better clarity on my part. That's what I meant. Yes, there will be more people in the industry, more people watching, playing, participating. I can't see more than 10% of them ever being people who don't play though.
Absolutely. All right. So, closing messages. Where can they find you, Tamir? On the interwebs.
Find me on Twitter is the best. It's at StrygWyrD, STRYGWYRD. And don't forget to check out Frag for Cancer this weekend.
Where can they find you, Bear?
Find me on Twitter at TheSergeantBear. Yep.
All right, and you can find me at Draconis on the interwebs, or follow at ESChamp all the way around the world on every pretty much social media platform. But my final thoughts as well, that KFC having all-you-eat buffet is only good for this world. I think it's...
Draken's like, I'll be right back. Going to KFC.
The thought did cross my mind, but absolutely.
Where is this all-you-can-eat KFC, by the way?
Japan.
Oh, no.
Oh, what? Why is this news?
I don't know. I read it later, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, for our one Japanese viewer. Probably the shower guy, now that
So guys, thanks very much for watching the show. Hope we'll see you next time. Join us anytime. Always keep looking for the Any Key. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night.